To our investor call. Today is November 24th, 2025. I'm going to turn it over to our CEO, Kurt Marvis. Kurt, are you there?
I am. I'll pop on my video here. Here we go. Raj, are you there as well?
Yes, sir.
There you
Good
are.
morning.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good evening for Raj. He's dialing in from India. I'm here in Los Angeles. Jace is on the East Coast, so we've got all time zones covered for the call. Welcome, everyone. Obviously, uh, the call this morning is under much better conditions and happier announcements than we've had in quite a while for the company. We're super, super excited to share the results with our shareholders and friends and people that have followed us for many, many years now. Before I get into that, I wanted to address the consolidation. A lot of people have voiced concerns and questions, wondering, why we ultimately selected to pull the trigger on this and why we're doing it now. The reason for that is pretty straightforward and simple, actually. At a 3 and 4 cent share price, it's extremely difficult to attract institutional investors. And um, institutions are sometimes prohibited from doing anything even under $1. Certainly, they don't have interest in so-called penny stocks or stocks that are trading certainly under 10 cents. And so for the last 3 years, many of you are aware that we've put onto the ballot at our annual general meeting to do a share consolidation, and we've discussed it over and over again. As I've said on these calls previously, I've been the co-founder, CEO of this company for a long time, over 11 years now, and haven't sold a share of our stock. So certainly I would never do anything that myself or the board members who are all in the same position, or employees in the company who've been here for a long time, none of us would ever do anything that we felt was hurtful or harmful in terms of the ultimate share price for the business. That would be crazy. And so any moves that we make, whether they're directly for the business or whether they're revolving around the share price, are always made with the intent to improve the value of the business, improve the share price, improve the overall market capitalization of the company, and improve the business in terms of what's happening. I'm sorry, I have messages popping up on my phone right now. So at any rate, the consolidation was executed as of this morning because we, as you all are aware now, know that our company is growing and growing in a very, very positive way. We have major revenue growth. We have net profit for the first time in our history. We have positive EBITDA that continues to be solid for the business. And so the key to getting institutional investors to invest into a company like ours is obviously demonstrating solid financial results. And because we're so bullish on not only the quarter that we've just reported, but on continuing quarters going forward and in 2026 and beyond, we felt it was the appropriate time to do this, not only based on sort of a hunch that we might have or a feeling we might have, but because of inbound interest that's been coming to us from institutional investors who want to come in and invest in this company, but are prohibited from doing so because of our share price. So that's why we made the decision. That's why we've done this today. It's also unwieldy and very challenging to deal with 600 million plus shares outstanding for a company like ours. Even with volume that you get that's not been tremendous for us lately, it's very hard to move the stock one direction or another. We think already this morning you've seen some positive reaction to what we've done. We hope obviously that holds, but it's not about it holding. It's about us building the business from here. Both myself and Raj very much believe that we're on our way to a first, next stop is $1, obviously, but to a $2, $3, $4, $5 stock. We believe we're going to build great value in the business, which we'll talk about here momentarily. And that's kind of the state of why we did the consolidation. So I appreciate that there's concerns about that. I know I've received emails and calls and other things from people that are like, why are you doing this now? Those are the reasons behind it. We're extremely, we thought about it for a long time. It wasn't a hasty decision. We've evaluated it, discussed it with institutional investors, and here we are. So moving forward from here and bullish about the opportunity. So why is that? Well, the first reason is the news that we put out this morning. We had our highest revenue quarter, over $9.6 million of revenue, 44% year over year growth in terms of the same quarter last year. And these are the kind of numbers that we've been building towards for a long time. As many of you are aware, when we stopped having some of our other businesses, including our channel business, gaming business, et cetera, that were contributing revenue to the overall business, but also contributing massive losses that we were facing. We cut that out, and now we only report what's happening with the two businesses that we're focused on, which is all around what's become known as the creator economy or influencer marketing. So both Chatterbox, which has had its successful IPO in India on October 3rd, and Raj will talk a bit more about Chatterbox in a bit. We also have been able to drive through, just really aggressive moves in terms of both costs, but also bringing on more people to drive revenue, a pathway that has us very, very bullish on the growth of the business going forward, both from a revenue standpoint and from a profitability standpoint. We're not giving any specific guidance today or yet for 2026. We'll sort of address that as we move closer and further into 2026, if we'll be doing that. But shareholders can rest assured that it is our continued goal to not only continue to drive revenue growth, which we expect to do in the quarter that we're currently in, but also drive profitability over quarters and years going forward. There are some investments that we're making into the business in terms of our technology, in terms of our headcount, in terms of our sales force, in terms of some expansion that we'll be doing as a business. But the bottom line is that the bottom line is what we're interested in, which is the top line and the bottom line. And it's producing growing revenue for the business going forward, leveraging the huge CAGR that's depending on which person you want to believe, is somewhere probably between 25 and 35% on an annual basis right now. So the creator economy and the influencer marketing industry is a global business that's continuing to grow. And we believe that we're positioned because of our vast experience in it, the client list that we have, the continued growth that we're seeing in both the businesses here and with Chatterbox, that the shareholders of our company will enjoy the benefits of that, as we all will going forward. The other piece of news from this morning that we're probably the most proud of is net profit. We've never reported a net profit in the history of our company. The net profit was just over $738,000. And while we obviously hope to continue to grow that going forward, the fact that we finally have achieved net profit in the business is extremely gratifying. And we believe a real financial testament to the fact that we've shed these businesses that were burning capital, focused our efforts as a company, as a global company, both here in the United States and in India, on the creator economy and on influencer marketing, that the financial results demonstrate that that strategy is working. And that's fundamentally what the message is today, is that the strategy that we've been working towards, that you've all been patient with, it's been frustrating for all of us in terms of the performance of the company from a share price perspective. We believe we're going to start to see the benefits of that going forward in a big way. And that's going to continue. And Raj and myself and the teams both here in the US and in India are completely focused on making that happen and going forward. Does that mean every quarter is going to be perfect? Maybe, maybe not, but every year is going to be. And we're definitely committed on an annualized basis, without question, to continue to outperform ourselves from a revenue basis quarter over quarter, and to start to generate net profits for this business, which will be reflected in our share price. So that's kind of where things are at the moment. The final thing that I'll say, and then I want to turn it over to Raj for a few minutes, is that the phenomenon that we're now working in as a company through QYOU Media, which again is comprised primarily of our North American business at the moment and our India business, this is a global phenomenon. And this is not something that's unique to India, that's unique to North America. This is happening all over the world, and it's happening in a massive way. I'm sure all of you are aware of the incredible impact that YouTube has on our lives for nearly 2 decades now. Certainly that the impact that YouTube Shorts has had in terms of its growth, and certainly we all know that Instagram, TikTok, and these other platforms, X, Snapchat, et cetera, have become part of the fabric of the daily lives of people of all ages all over the world. What that translates into is that brands and advertisers that want to reach audiences at scale must use these platforms to reach their target customers. And this is something that we started on when we started this in the business, both for ourselves and Chatterbox 8 years plus ago, was it wasn't even a fledgling business. It was just sort of a new thing. And if there was a brand campaign, it didn't matter whether it was Coca-Cola or a new beauty product or whatever it might be that was coming into market, unless they were really targeted to a very young audience, they tended to stick to more traditional marketing means. The CEO of Unilever, which is one of the largest global product companies, as you all know, in the world, came out at the beginning of this year, 2025, and made the announcement that this year, Unilever, which is one of our customers in India, our partners in India, was going to spend up to 50% of their brand marketing spend on social media platforms. These are things that are happening in real time right now. They're driving the growth of our own business. And we are absolutely committed to capturing more market share of this on a global basis as we go forward. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Raj now. We're obviously both super excited about the successful IPO of Chatterbox that occurred on October 3rd. That's not really part of the reporting that you'll see in the Q3 results. And that'll be coming up more in terms of what you'll see from financial impact in Q4. But I'll turn it over to Raj. And Raj, maybe you can fill people in on kind of what's happening over in India.
Sure. Thanks, Kurt. I mean, all I could say is really ditto on everything what just Kurt said right now. Look, for us in India, it's been phenomenal. We have shifted gears in India over the past few months. The Q3 results, so obviously it's really acted as a vantage point for us to scale up our businesses. But what the IPO has really done is it's sort of built a momentum in the country, which is here to stay. The hype is really, what people are looking forward to. I mean, we were the first influencer marketing company in the country to ever be listed. That in itself has created a lot of, euphoric value about the company. People are more, interested to know what exactly are our capabilities across the region, not just in India, but global footprints, how well deep-rooted we are in our tech capabilities to serve the next demand with regards to, the way influencer marketing as a business and industry is really growing. The entire global industry is valued at about $500 billion by 2027. It's growing at a CAGR of about, 20 to 25% right now. And we are just a drop in the ocean right now with regards to the potential and the opportunity, it entirely has to serve. And we are stoked. The team's really fired up. There's a lot of energy right now with regards to what we can achieve as a team together, in all the emerging markets where creator economy is really sticky. And the fundamental fact that the IPO, the entire experience of having a successful IPO with regards to the type of people, the QIBs, the institutional investor, the market investors who backed our entire vision of making, inroads into the creator economy has really been, something phenomenal, for us as an entire company. We see a lot of investor interest still, with regards to the future. And, that's something which is going to help us, build our North Star in a much more stronger way. For us, 2026 is all about, our pillars of North Star are basically three. One is scale. We want to scale all our different metrics, which is important to the company, whether it's scaling our, wallet share across brands, it's scaling our, financial metrics, which dials up into our second North Star, which is more profitability, or, scaling our tech, infrastructure. All these are something which the entire team's, dialed up into, delivering moving forward. And that's how we are envisioning the next leap of growth right now, because we're here to win. That's fundamentally the reason why we've actually, the entire teams has been crushing it all this while. And what we see right now is a testimony to all the hard work which the teams has been really putting in. So we know the, playbook, we know the beat plan, what needs to be done right now. And we've already had a great support with regards to the type of people who have backed our gig. And take this opportunity to thank all our, investors and shareholders and believers who've stuck with QYOU and now Chatterbox, for all these years right now. But one thing we're going to promise you that, we are here to hit the home run. That's exactly what the entire theme is within the company. And that's how we are envisioning our next leap of growth. And there's a lot of, cool stuff what we'd be pulling off as a company, whether it's international expansion, venturing into emerging markets, whether it's really sticky creator economy, or whether it's to building into very strong levers of tech capabilities, which can really help people decipher, the right value proposition, what a creator-centric, company has to offer, or whether it's financial discipline in the way we go about spending that each dollar within the company. All these are going to add up, very soon, and it's already started to reap results in what we see in the country right now after the IPO and successful completion of the IPO. We've seen bigger mandates come to us. We've seen creators who are top heavy creators, ex TikTokers, big YouTubers reach out to us that they want to be part of our ecosystem. I mean we've bought into more wallet share of brands, so the momentum is really real. That's something I want to really again try and emphasize on. And yeah, as we move forward, there's going to be a lot of stuff what we're going to fill you guys in. And yeah, I'm going to happy to field questions and answer more on that soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Raj. Yeah, I think as anybody who's been on these calls previously and our shareholders know, we can't really share material non-public information, unfortunately, of things that we're working on. But Raj mentioned technology. We've been working actually through Jace, has been leading the charge here in the US, and we've had a team working in India for quite some time now, ramping up our technology capabilities. This is very much a data-driven industry and a data-driven business. People want to be able to measure the results, know what happened. This isn't like a billboard by the side of the road where you're not sure how many people actually were impacted by it. We know exactly what has been shared, what the demographic is of the people who are using it, what they're doing with the content, et cetera, which is a huge, huge advantage to our partners. And so what we've been doing is ramping up our technology capabilities. You'll be hearing more about that potentially before the end of this year, but certainly by in 2026, you'll be hearing more about our technology capabilities, our expansions, our expansion of campaigns in a variety of additional markets globally. We're already starting to do that. We have a campaign currently that we're working on between the North American operation and India. We're really one company, and so we are a big agenda item for us in 2026 is to integrate the companies more and more. I mean, Raj and I usually speak once or sometimes twice a day, and a big part of where we're going as a business is because of the global opportunity is to integrate the businesses from a performance basis, technology basis, client basis, opportunity basis more and more in 2026 and beyond. And we think, again, we'll see the benefits of that strategy, both in terms of our financial results and also in terms of our overall market share and growth in the industry. So with that, Jace, it's always challenging for me on these calls to be able to field questions. Are there a couple questions that have come in that you can send our way?
Yes, I'll read them to you now. So the first question comes from, I'm going to butcher this, but it's Pedrin Oliver, I believe is his name. It says, "Hi Kurt, could you comment on plans of opening new offices in Southeast Asia and expansion in other regions such as Europe and Latin America?"
Sure. I mean, we've spoken about that a little bit, and the real strategy of our business is to remain very, very focused. That's why we think the financial results reflect the fact that we're focused on one industry, the creator economy and influencer marketing, both here and in India. I mean, I think a lot of people don't necessarily know or realize that outside of China, the largest territory for the use of social media on the planet Earth is India. It's by far the largest user base for YouTube. It's by far the largest user base for Instagram. But with that said, as we spoke about, it's a global phenomenon and a global opportunity. And so we absolutely plan on targeting countries where we're already doing business. In terms of campaigns that are reaching those territories, we've started increasingly as products are launched internationally to do that. But yeah, that's certainly very big on our list, but to do it in what I would call a very tactical and strategic fashion, not to sort of, throw a bunch of money up in the air and open up offices in places around the world. Raj, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, we are pretty focused with regards to our go-to-market strategy moving forward. Like Earth said, we want to be very tactical and we want to have a very high cost center. We want to be very financially disciplined in the way we scale up our operations in these emerging markets, the ones you all mentioned in the question. And yes, bang on. There's a huge creator diaspora in these markets, and we want to leverage our capabilities into trying to build, profit centers in these markets. But yeah, but we're going to have focus markets to start with. We are already setting up shop in a couple of these emerging markets, which we're going to be publicly announcing real soon. And yeah, you'd see a lot of these markets being activated as and when we, build use cases out of those markets.
Yeah, certainly we're well aware that areas like, the Middle East,
Yeah.
Indonesia, South Asia, et cetera, have huge opportunities for us to continue to grow the business.
Yeah.
Chase, next.
Okay, next question comes from Gigi Cyprus. I believe that's Gregory Cyprus. What are the Indian BSE financial reporting requirements? Are they the same quarterly as Q?
No, they're actually a bit different. Raj, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, each markets bring in different, regulations and guardrails of us, executing businesses. Without going, much deeper into those regulations and how they're really trying to be, different from each markets. But yeah, I mean, our objective is to be completely in line with regards to local, requirements what any, government would have, and we comply with regards to all tax and financial regulations, and we're going to continue to do that. And so yeah, in short. Yes, they are different, and we have a team. We have a strategic team to help us dive into such, aspects of legalities in the country, and we are ensuring that we are on top of it.
Yeah, the other thing specifically too is I think when after the initial IPO, we were required to report the first 6 months. The fiscal year is different in India than it is for us. So the first thing is that our in the India fiscal year for 99.9% of companies in India is goes from April 1st to March 31st. As people are likely aware, our fiscal year for QYOU Media is calendar year. So India, when in after you IPO, you're required to report. Is it Raj? Was it 45 days after we listed, or
45.
45 days after listed, which we
45. Yeah.
reported on? I think it was October 24th for this
Yep.
first 6 months of Chatterbox's fiscal year, and then the next report is required 6 months later. So our next financial report will come out whatever 6 months after October 24th is. So I guess that's uh, end of March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's specifically, Gregory, what's happening there. QU Media,
Okay, next question.
QU Media will continue to consolidate quarterly results as we do. So it's just that our Q3 is actually India's Q2, but we consolidate them based on our 51% ownership of Chatterbox.
And
Go
just to add, beyond just announcing our financial results, I think what me and Kurt and the entire team's really focused on is also to keep you all posted on everything which is strategic and which is of significant importance to the company. We're going to be more vocal about what all we are doing, and have a way to talk about that, in different forums, and we're going to keep you all in loop of the way things are happening in the company. So yeah.
Okay, next question comes from Swarms. And he has two questions, so I'm just going to combine them, which is there any news that you guys haven't announced that may be noteworthy, but how do we plan on attracting new investors?
Um, yeah, there's definitely news that we think is noteworthy, but we can't talk about it. Um, so yeah, look, this has taken a long time for us to get to where we are today, frankly, and it's as gratifying as it is. It's almost like a brand new train has just left the station, and we, because of our financial results being not what we wanted, because of our share price issues, et cetera, we've been pretty quiet for the last couple of years. Market conditions have also been very difficult in the micro cap and small cap arena. We expect that all to change. Is it going to change between now and Friday? No, not necessarily. But you will definitely see us with a much higher profile going forward in terms of activity and announcements that are coming out of both Chatterbox and North America, and ultimately, as we're just talking about, out of other international territories where we'll be doing business. So there's a lot that's on our agenda right now to grow the business. And look, this is the expression of our company now, which many of you will be able to figure out, is LFG, and our symbol is the little rocket ship emoji. We're looking to take off here, and so we are utilizing the momentum that we feel that we've built with these Q3 numbers to drive the business going forward. And so, yes, you will be hearing more news and not always seismic announcements, but you'll be hearing very, very important announcements along the way as well.
Okay, I know you guys have a hard out at 11:30, so we will try to take a few more questions. I see your question, Yuri. I feel like we already answered it, so I'm going to skip to Gregory's next question, which is, can we expect regular updates like first Thursdays to resume in the future?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we're definitely committed to better shareholder communication going forward. That happens with Raj in India all the time as well. I mean, one of the things people may or may not be aware of, and part of the shift with the consolidation, is 50% of our investors in India were so-called institutional investors, or QIBs as they're known. And our share price in India, hovers, depending on whether you're talking about US dollars or Canadian dollars, talk about between $1.50 to $2. So we're already over that threshold where we're not in India, quote unquote, penny stock. This is part of why we made the move that we made this morning as well, is to get those closer to alignment in terms of what's happening. But the goal going forward is absolutely to drive more institutional and interest and more quality investment interest, both from a day-to-day share price basis, but also from a strategic basis. I mean, again, part of the reason we're doing what we're doing is inbound interest. So I would say yes is the answer to the question.
Okay, the next question comes from Zeppers. Is there any institutional investors ready to invest in Q that hasn't been able to because of the stock price?
Um, my answer will be what I said at the beginning of the call, which is uh, the reason that we chose to do what we are doing now is a combination of our financial momentum and the financial metrics that we expect to continue on a go-forward basis, combined with inbound interest from institutions that were unable to invest in our company due to our share profile. So absolutely, that's something that we expect to happen going forward.
Okay, and I feel like we have time for one last question. It's also from Gregory, and I apologize to all the investors that didn't get their question answered. It's just a time constraint, so we do apologize. And we answer the questions in order that they were received. And it's how will you determine what brand Q or Chatterbox will be promoted in new international markets?
Primarily, it's going to be Chatterbox, because most of the markets that we plan on targeting initially are, I'll say, more India-centric than they are North America. Also, I mean, there's also fundamental tactical issues like time zones and other things of that nature. But also, Chatterbox has a cost structure that in many ways is easier for some of these markets than it is for the North American operation to operate from a profitability standpoint in terms of the contracts that we're doing. So yeah, most of those will probably happen out of Chatterbox. But look, again, we're the merging of these two businesses, despite their name difference, going forward, is a main agenda item for us. And so I think you'll see a lot more of that happening in the coming months.
Okay, I believe, gentlemen, we are at time. Raj, do you have any closing comments? Kurt, do you have any closing comments?
No, I mean, exciting times for us. And, we got to make a promise to everyone who's just tuned in and who's going to be watching this video or hear the news about QU and Chatterbox, that we are all dialed in as a team right now. As I said earlier, we are here for the win, and we're gonna, ensure that we deliver value, to the promises we are making. And we are stoked and excited at the same time to do that. And it's gonna be a hell of a ride moving forward. And we can't even wait to talk about all the cool stuff we are building as a company. And yeah, this space is gonna keep getting exciting, that's for sure. And these first Thursdays and shareholder calls are even gonna be more engaging That's a promise I want to make today. Over to you, Kurt.
Yeah, I used to use baseball vernacular, as some of you will remember early on. I think we're actually in extra innings now. So as many of you know, I've been doing this for quite a while with QYOU Media. It's been a roller coaster ride. I've told people all the time, I've not been this excited about the potential of the business in a number of years now. So super pumped with what's happening, and look forward to delivering great results for you guys as we move forward. Thanks all for your support.
All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
everyone. That's good. That's going to conclude today's investor call. It will be live on our YouTube channel if you want to rewatch it. And we thank you for your time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all. Thanks, Ace. Thanks, Kurt.